Good morning, everybody. Nice, cool, fresh fall morning. And it's a bittersweet day today for a lot of us from the neighborhood that have lived here all our lives. But before I get going, I want to bring up the mayor of our city, Brian Arrigo, and say a few words about what's going on. Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Ira. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for turning out on this chilly morning. We are here to honor the history of the congregation Tifereth Israel and the Revere's Jewish community as a whole. We are also here to celebrate this site's future. So in that sense, as Ira said, this is a bittersweet day, but it is also a day of celebration. And we are here also for a sad goodbye. Goodbye to a building that has stood here for over a century. A building that has served generations of Revere's residents. A building that has played host to dreamers and strivers from Lithuania, from Russia, from Hungary, from Poland, and from Germany, all of whom chose Revere as a place to build their new homes and lives in Revere, in America, and all of whom kept alive their heritage, their culture, and their religious traditions here on Shirley Ave. This is a bittersweet day for all of us, though of course even more so for those who worshipped here. Those who made friends here, who celebrated holy days here, and who built a community here. The congregation Tifereth Israel opened in 1912 and was the anchor of Shirley Ave's vibrant Jewish community. All along this stretch once stood many hallmarks of that community: bakers, butchers, cobblers, and merchants living out their American dreams here on these blocks, which our friend Councilor Ira Novoselsky has always referred to as Little Israel. In the decade following World War II, Revere's population was 25% Jewish. Through the years, that population declined as generations of American Jews followed in the footsteps of the Irish, the Italians, Germans, and others who built ethnic enclaves close to downtown and moved out and spread around the country as their economic situation improved and as their families assimilated to American culture. The history of Revere's Jewish community is an integral part of the story of Shirley Ave, this melting pot of cultures and traditions that has contributed to the richness and diversity of our city for decades. The dreams of Eastern European Jews who helped build this temple have been repeated more recently by Central Americans, Southeast Asians, and now families from Morocco and Egypt. While the days of this neighborhood as a Jewish enclave are declining, they are fondly remembered, and they will always be an important part of Revere's history. The next step for this site, as Ira mentioned, is that it will be a mixed-use development that will include retail space in addition to veterans preference housing. Much credit should be given to Councilor Novoselsky and other leaders of the congregation for making sure the next owner of this property are people who care about contributing to the community and will fulfill an urgent need in housing for our veterans. The site will also contribute to the neighborhood's economic vibrancy by including retail space on the ground floor. We look forward to a great project on this site that will honor the legacy of Congregation Tifereth Israel while contributing to Revere's bright future. I want to thank everyone who came out today on this chilly fall morning for joining us on this day of remembrance and celebration. And thank you to everyone who made this a Revere institution. Have a good day.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As everybody knows, whoever doesn't know me, I'm Ira Novoselsky. I'm president of the congregation Tifereth Israel and also the city councilor down here for the past 16 years. And I grew up here, as everybody knows, and many of you around here have lived here all their lives and have gone to this facility and this religious home for not 105 years, but some of them close to it. We're here today to pay tribute to our congregation, Tifereth Israel of Revere, a focal point of Jewish religion and cultural life. Generations of Revere residents have proudly called Shul their synagogue. Today we remember the outstanding achievements in the people over the 105 years who have participated in this congregation. It has thrived due to its outstanding leadership, wonderful congregation, a supportive community. We all have many, many, many happy memories of attendance to this synagogue, particularly during our youth. We remember the days of the chestnuts. For those who don't know about the chestnuts, there used to be a chestnut tree right in front of the synagogue on Nahant Ave. And the guys used to take a chestnut and wrap it in their handkerchief and whack the young ladies in their butts. That was the thrill of the holiday. We remember the days that they used to block off the streets. There were so many people attending, and no traffic can go there. That was part of our remembrance. It was founded in 1912, as the mayor said, by a few trailblazing Jewish families, many of them merchants. These Jewish immigrants from Russia, Hungary, Poland, Germany, drawn to America by this country's promise of religious and political freedom. Jewish families settled in Revere seeking an improved economic lifestyle in this country. The Orthodox believers among them founded Tifereth Israel with the desire to build a synagogue to feed their spiritual hunger and to encourage development of a larger Jewish community. They also struggled to redefine Jewish family life in a new world. While founders worked to raise the funds needed to redesign the original church building, this was originally a Methodist church built in 1888. It was the first Methodist church of Revere. The shul originally started at the corner store by just a small group of gentlemen. And then when the building became available in 1912, they purchased it. The front of the building was not there. The Jewish religious community built it. They made the front steps. So you can picture it. I know we have a lot of photographs relating to these that are on Facebook. And if anybody want to go on and look at it, it's very emotional and exciting. The synagogue was reconstructed with a balcony for female worshipers. It was based on its devout Orthodox congregational roots. The Torah Ark was built against the rear wall, but could not face the east, symbolizing the hope that Jerusalem would be restored as the capital of Judaism and the sacred temple rebuilt to replace the one destroyed by the Romans in 70 AD. During the congregation's lifespan, a more ritual-centrist Jewish population settled in the area, affecting an ideological change in the synagogue's practices, leaving its Orthodox roots for more conservative practices, including no longer segregating the genders during the services and allowing women to become full participants in all the rituals. Just as important, the congregation had strived to preserve its Jewish heritage and offer its members spiritual sustenance in that steadfast commitment to its own religious and cultural heritage. In recent years, many families moved from Revere, and the Shoals saw a similar drop in its congregation. Throughout its 105 years, the synagogue has preserved its community's Jewish heritage, providing for its spiritual sustenance and that commitment to cultural strength that persisted. Jewish community life in Revere has changed much since the founding of Tifereth Israel, again 105 years ago. What remains constant in the synagogue's community's commitment to maintain their religious and cultural heritage. Even though we are bidding farewell to this historic structure, the congregation still conducts holiday services for some of its congregation at the Jewish chapel at the Chelsea Soldiers Home. When we decided to sell, I searched for a broker that would find a developer who would preserve some of the history of the synagogue and also work to assist our veterans. I reached out to a friend of mine, Lou McCarkis, who's standing over there, been a great friend and a great worker. He is with Linway Associates, who are located in Revere. He searched for a year to find the right people. The group that we finally found was Rising Communities, a nonprofit out of Lynn, Mass. Over the next year, I and our executive board decided to make sure as much of the building was returned to families and saved whoever would take it. The Ark went to Temple Shir Tikva in Wayland. It was dismantled and rebuilt at that temple, along with some pews and many, many other artifacts that they took to teach their children what Jewish life was like and what the history of each item was. The two memorial boards, shawls, prayer shawls, books, yarmulkes, and several pews went to a temple in Portsmouth, New Hampshire. The chandeliers, sconces, pews, and other artifacts went to the Walnut Street Shul in Chelsea, which they made a museum there and are showing all our artifacts at that museum. Another group of items went to a Bible church, a Bible study group at a church in East Boston. A temple in Brockton, items in Bangor, Maine, Westminster, New York, and even down in South America. So we're like a transplant item, an organ donor. And we are all over the world and being remembered with those items. Many of the memorial plaques were returned to families of the congregants. This brings us today where we say Shalom. The demolition will make way for a 30-unit veteran preference housing facility with commercial space on the first floor. The lower level will have a community room with a laundry area and offices for serving the veterans that will live here. Parking will be in the rear, under the building, on the street level. The facility will have artifacts from the shul. One particular group of artifacts that we're going to be putting in there is a memorial for our veterans that were killed in action in World War II. This group, these plaques, about 24 veterans whose names show there, and will be placed in the building, hopefully in the lobby, we think. We're not sure exactly where yet. But many of photographs of the synagogue will be placed in the building. There used to be a memorial stone right behind me. That has been removed. It will be cleaned up, and that will be placed back on the property on the Nahant Avenue side. So we are remembering what we have. There'll be a plaque on the front, near the front door, saying this is the former site of the congregation Tifereth Israel of Revere. Shirley Ave is, again, another growing community, again, of diverse culture. But we're growing. There are many, many good things. This is the beginning of a new venture to redevelop Shirley Avenue. We recently got a $2.2 million Mass Works grant to do new streets, new sidewalks, help the store owners fix the front of their buildings, new signage. a lot of good things are happening. And we thank the mayor for that. And we also want to remember that Shirley Avenue will always be the Ave. So with that, I don't know if they're ready to go across the street. You guys ready to do a bite? Dave? So, even though we're leaving this building, our hearts and memories will be still there. We will remember a lot of good things. This will be the first construction on Shirley Avenue since they built Myers Kosher Kitchen in the 1960s. So this is the first step of the redevelopment of Shirley Avenue. So with that, I want to thank you. Normally, when we go to a cemetery, we say a memorial prayer, but we're not going to do that today because we'll always remember it. We don't have to say the memorial prayer. So with that, we'll have a bite done out of the building, and we'll let the contractors do their job, and hopefully in early 2019, guys, approximately, we will have a brand new building, and then we will have a ribbon cutting to celebrate that new facility. So with that, thank you all for coming today, and we appreciate your attendance. Bye-bye.